Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there lived a beautiful young girl named Cinderella. She was known for her grace, kindness, and radiant beauty. However, despite her many virtues, Cinderella lived a life filled with hardship and sorrow. Cinderella's mother had passed away when she was very young, leaving her in the care of her father, who was a kind and loving man. But as time passed, her father decided to remarry, hoping to provide a mother figure for his beloved daughter. He married a woman who appeared to be elegant and refined but was, in reality, cruel and wicked. She had two daughters of her own, Anastasia and Drizella, who shared their mother's mean spirit. From the moment the wicked stepmother and stepsisters entered Cinderella's life, they treated her like a servant in her own home. They forced her to do all the household chores, from cleaning the floors to scrubbing the dishes, while they enjoyed a life of luxury. Cinderella's only friends were the mice and birds that would visit her in the kitchen, providing her with solace and companionship. One day, the kingdom received news that the prince was throwing a grand ball in the royal palace. It was a ball like no other, as the prince was searching for a bride. Invitations were sent to every eligible maiden in the kingdom, including Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters. They were overjoyed and began preparing for the ball immediately, leaving Cinderella with a mountain of additional chores. As the day of the ball drew closer, Cinderella couldn't help but dream of attending. She longed to escape her life of drudgery, even if just for one magical night. She had heard stories of the prince's kindness and fairness, and she yearned to meet him. With the help of her friends, the mice and birds, she crafted a beautiful gown from scraps of fabric and a pair of worn-out shoes that had once belonged to her mother. Cinderella's transformation was breathtaking. When she emerged in her makeshift gown, she looked like a true princess, and her beauty shone even brighter from within. Her friends had also fashioned her a pair of sparkling glass slippers that twinkled like stars. However, as the wicked stepmother and stepsisters saw Cinderella's radiant transformation, they became jealous and spiteful. When the time came for the stepmother and stepsisters to leave for the royal ball, Cinderella could not help but feel a twinge of hope. She asked if she too could attend the ball, but her stepmother and stepsisters scoffed at the idea. "A maid like you at the royal ball? Ridiculous," they sneered. "You will stay here and clean up the mess we've made." With heavy hearts, Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters departed for the palace, leaving Cinderella behind. As they disappeared into the night, Cinderella couldn't hold back her tears. She retreated to the garden and wept, her tears falling onto the ground. It was then that something truly magical happened. Suddenly, there was a burst of light, and a kindly old woman appeared before Cinderella. "Don't cry, my dear," she said with a gentle smile. "I am your fairy godmother, and I'm here to help you attend the royal ball." Cinderella couldn't believe her eyes. Her fairy godmother used her magic to transform a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and Cinderella's tattered clothes into a stunning ball gown. She even replaced Cinderella's worn-out shoes with sparkling glass slippers. Cinderella was overwhelmed with gratitude. "Remember, my dear," her fairy godmother said, "you must leave the ball by midnight. When the clock strikes 12, your carriage will turn back into a pumpkin, and your beautiful gown will return to rags. But until then, enjoy the ball, and be yourself." With a warm embrace and a twinkle in her eye, Cinderella's fairy godmother sent her on her way to the royal palace. As she arrived at the grand ball, Cinderella drew the attention of everyone in the room. The prince himself was captivated by her beauty and grace. He approached her, and they danced together, lost in each other's company. Cinderella had never been happier in her life, and the prince was enchanted by her kindness and charm. They danced the night away, and for a moment, Cinderella forgot about the impending midnight deadline. However, as the clock began to chime, she suddenly remembered her fairy godmother's warning. Panicking, she rushed from the palace, leaving behind one of her glass slippers in her haste. The prince chased after her but could only watch as she disappeared into the night, leaving behind a single glass slipper. The next day, the prince was determined to find the mysterious beauty who had captured his heart. He declared that he would marry the maiden whose foot fit the glass slipper. Every eligible maiden in the kingdom was summoned to try on the slipper, including Cinderella's wicked stepmother and stepsisters. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were determined to win the prince's favor, even if it meant trying to squeeze their feet into the delicate glass slipper. They pushed and squeezed, but the slipper was too small for them. The prince was disheartened. He had hoped to find the enchanting girl who had captured his heart. As the prince was about to leave, Cinderella's mice friends revealed themselves and helped him locate the kind maiden they had transformed into a princess. The prince returned to Cinderella's home, where she had been locked away by her wicked stepmother. When Cinderella emerged, her stepmother and stepsisters were shocked to see her wearing the other glass slipper. The prince knew he had found his true love, and he slipped the glass slipper onto Cinderella's foot. It fit perfectly, confirming her identity as the mysterious beauty from the ball. Overjoyed, he declared that he would marry Cinderella, and they would rule the kingdom together. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their cruelty, and they, in turn, recognized the error of their ways. They attended the royal wedding, and the kingdom celebrated the union of Cinderella and the prince with a grand feast. Cinderella and her prince lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness, compassion, and fairness. They never forgot the magical night they had shared and the lesson it had taught them about the power of kindness and true love. And so, the story of Cinderella serves as a timeless reminder that no matter how difficult life may seem, goodness and kindness will always prevail in the end.